Hello guys, welcome back to another Model 3 performance video. Today we're going to look into 6 months worth of ownership with my 2024 Model 3 Performance. She's done a fair few miles now, 7,000 miles in. Lots of bugs on the bumper. And let's see what we can tell you about this car. So first off, let's have a look at the interior from the driver's side. Really nice interior. Very premium feelings. Wearing it extremely well, 7,000 miles in. Steering wheel has no noticeable wear on it. Handles, no noticeable wear. The Alcantara is still nice and soft. Nothing started to rattle or to knock or to bang. It's great. The seats are holding up really well. They haven't started to crack. They haven't lost any support. The vegan leather is really easy to clean, just a damp cloth. Really easy to live with day to day. So we're going to go out for a drive. I'm just going to do all this whilst driving. I'll chuck in some shots of the car for the things that I'm talking about, but I'm just going to do it whilst driving. A little bit different to the norm, and we can see if we can help you decide whether a Model 3 is for you, specifically the performance model. But a lot of the stuff in this is the same if you were to buy a generic Model 3. But I'm going to talk about all the things I like, dislike, the things I would change. Would I buy it again? Let's find out. So the first thing with this car is just how easy it is to drive. Tap to activate drive, foot on the brake, goes into gear. Put it on the big screen so we can see. We're in gear, ready to go. The other thing that's nice about the Tesla in a situation like this, it's quite an awkward view. I can't really see if there's anything coming, but I can put my cameras on and I can see all the way down the end of the road and see that it's safe. So yes, this is a 2024 Model 3 Performance. I bought this car in August 2024, and prior to that I had never owned, driven, wanted an electric car. I just decided that I would take advantage of Tesla offering test drives of their new Model 3. I went in to try a long range model and they only had a performance, and after driving it I was sold. Far smoother than an ICE car, easier to drive, no gears. Just fundamentals of an electric car, it's just so nice. The smoothness, the quietness, just the ease of getting around. I didn't think I would buy one, but then I got back into my Range Rover at the time and I had to have one. So what do you get in the Model 3 Performance? And the Highland has loads of new features compared to the previous Model 3 Performance. To name a few, we have a completely different body kit to the standard car. One big complaint with the old Model 3 Performance is it just looked like a long range or a standard range, whereas the new Model 3 Performance has a completely different front bumper with some large sort of air intake grills at the side, a front splitter, carbon fibre rear boot spoiler, 20-inch forged wheels, staggered so the rears are wider than the fronts. We have on the interior some really nice bucket seats with the Performance logo inside, and these are now ventilated as well as heated. And we have a strip of carbon fibre on the dash up here. Underneath the car we get adaptive dampers, and we get a completely new rear drive motor. And everything together, in terms of telling you how good it is, and if you don't want to watch the whole video, then I'll tell you now. It has got to be up there with the best performance daily drivers on the market today. Right now we're just in standard suspension, standard acceleration mode, and a bit late to indicate, never mind, and light steering. And you wouldn't know this is a performance car. I've had high-powered BMWs in the past, early 2000s BMWs, and then sort of mid 2000s BMWs, and the ride, it's not crashy at all. It's firm, but nothing really transmits into the cabin. It's really good. And when I test drove one of these, I was driving a Range Rover, and I didn't think the ride was bad coming out of the Range Rover and into this, and I didn't notice a massive difference coming out of this and back into the Range Rover. And then because the dampers are adaptive, even left in standard, if you enter a corner too quickly, they will firm up. You feel a little bit of lean, but they do firm up. And then you put them in sport and they go that little bit harsher. And then you do have a third mode, which you only get in track mode. But the adaptive dampers make such a difference, such a big difference. The seats themselves, they're comfortable. They don't give you backache. I've done long journeys in this, and for me, for my body shape and size and everything, I can sit in here for hours on end and not feel like I've done that. They are really, really nice. The steering feel is great as well. for an electric system, which all new cars are now, they're electric systems, this isn't completely numb. It does have feel to it. Now, on my previous video I did a video when I first bought this, my reasons for buying it, and in that I spoke about probably the hottest topic for this car, which was the indicators being on the steering wheel. Now, I stand by what I said in my first video. If you don't know what I thought when I first bought the car, go check it out. My viewpoint on the indicators are, they're not revolutionary and they're not evolutionary. They work okay. I'm fine using them, but I don't live where there are roundabouts. And when I have driven this in cities where there are roundabouts, it's been a bit of a pain. I think on the Model 3 Performance, it's not a major issue, because if you're going to buy the Performance, you're going to be more enthusiast-based to buy a performance car. If you're buying just a dual motor long range or a standard range car, you're buying it more because you just need a mode of transport. And for me, that's then where it becomes an issue, and that's probably why Tesla have brought it back now on the refreshed Model Y. The car would lose nothing by going back to a stalk, and if Tesla offered it as a free retrofit, or even a retrofit that cost 100 quid, I'd probably go back in and just get a stalk put back on. In short, can you adapt to the steering wheel buttons, to indicators on a steering wheel? Yes. In certain situations, it is better. Not massively, not enough to actually do the change, but when you're changing lanes on a motorway, you're in a straight line, it's easy just to press it, and you've got far more control because more of your hand is gripping the steering wheel, compared to an indicator where your thumb is really the only thing on the left hand side doing it. But that's really the only place where it has an advantage. You can, however, if you find that these are a deal breaker, for £300-400, you can buy the Sexy Stalks. They make all sorts of things for Teslas. I've had a look at them. I've had no correspondence with them whatsoever. I've just seen them, and I think it's a good product. It's not worth it for me to spend £400 odd doing it, because I can get by with the indicators as they are. But if you really struggled, there are options. Drive selection wise though, it's so good. It's so good. There's been an update come out since I bought this car. In fact, I've had loads of updates since I bought this car, and it's one of the best things about owning a Tesla is the car constantly gets better. It's never out of date. And I would hazard a guess that I've probably had 10 to 12 updates since August. Some big, some small. And they've just released a feature or for the big Christmas update, they released a feature where auto shift happens more frequently. So as you saw when I first got in the car and started driving it, I just put my foot on the brake and it selects drive and I don't have to do anything. What they do now, if you're in a tight parking situation, and I will insert a video over the top of what that's going to look like. When you're in a tight parking situation, it'll see the obstacle either in front of you or behind you, and in order to automatically switch between forward and reverse, you have to do a sequence of putting your foot in the brake, on the brake, and steering the opposite lock to the steering you've already got on, and then it automatically selects the other gear. Hopefully through the video you can see how it works. It's more intuitive than how I'm probably describing it, because when you go and park, you'll say, for example, drive forward, lock on, you say full right hand lock, and if you're not going to make it round, you would then put your foot on the brake to come to a stop and turn left, because you'll need to go back and then forward again. That's just what you do naturally, and that's how it works, is by knowing that you want to put the opposite lock on and you'll need to press the brake to come to a stop, and that's how you select the other gear. It does work really well. It's in beta at the minute, but I can see that getting really, really good. So the software side is definitely where Tesla trumps everyone else. The software updates, the way the software works, it's all in-house, it's all designed to work together, and it works brilliantly. They've also massively upped their game in build quality, as we've said. What I like about Tesla is everything is standard apart from the additional driving aids and then colors of the exterior and interior. So you don't have to sacrifice anything, and you know exactly what you're getting. Which again is brilliant. I'm going to go down here. I don't really know where I'm going. This was a spur of the moment thing. But I just wanted to do it whilst driving the car, because for me, when I've looked at buying cars, I really like POV driving videos, so I can really get a sense of what it's like to be in the driver's seat. Now, since owning the car, the best thing about it, even though it's a performance model, the best thing about it isn't the acceleration. It's not the 0 to 60 time. 95% of the time, I am just in standard. As you can see here, I'm in standard ride and handling, and light steering weight. Because it just drives so well. It doesn't, when it's in these settings, it doesn't feel like a performance car, which when I'm commuting, that's what I want. This is the thing I don't fully understand. I looked at the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, and I think that's a brilliant car. I really do think that's an amazing car. And I would love to own one. I love the looks. I think the Tesla looks good. I prefer the look of the Hyundai, if I'm honest. I really love the retro look of it. I was always a big fan, and I owned one, a Mark IV Golf. It's just that retro look. I just love the retro look. It's a shame it's as big as it is, but I love the look of it. The thing I can't deal with the 5N is the range. And again, that's why Tesla is so good with the efficiency. I mean, this drive, I've done 12 miles. I don't know, I haven't been going fast. I've just been keeping up with traffic. 222 watt hours per mile. For a car like this is insane. From videos that I've seen, the Hyundai would be lucky if it was getting 300 watt hours per mile in the same scenario. And this is the point with the Teslas, and this is why the Teslas are so good. The Hyundai is better on track. It's a better performance car. It's a better track car. And you know, that's true with, I mean, people have compared this car to a BMW M3. It's the same thing with the M3. The M3 is the better track car. Now, even if you love going to the track, you're going to daily your car more than you're going to track it. And that's completely true for me. I'm happy with the fact that this is not as good around a track as the Hyundai. I'm more slightly disappointed as well, of course, but I'm completely fine with that because it's so good as a daily driver. It's so good as a daily driver. It eats up miles. In the winter, we've just gone through the winter. It's March now. I get about 250 miles range, 100% to 0 in the winter. The Hyundai is about 150 miles, same conditions. And then with all the settings on this put to the softest, it's all soft and squidgy and comfortable, and it's small, and that's the other thing, the size wise this is just right. I wish it was a hatchback, but it's still practical. You fold them rear seats down. I've had lumps of 4x2 timber in here at 2.5 meters long. I have my massive dog sat in the back seat. It's a really good car. And yeah, I just want to sort of sum up that Tesla at the minute are getting a lot of flack because of Elon Musk, and I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. I think it's very respectable what he's managed to achieve, and I think every one of us would be similar in the sense of, take like the Cybertruck for instance. If we had the money and the resources to do it, if we had a vision of creating this completely wacky machine, we would all do that. And I think all that side is completely respectable. And when he was pushing for electric cars and sustainable future, and you know, he's got the power walls and all of that is brilliant. But I have never bought a car based on politics, and I didn't buy this one based on politics. I bought it because it's just a brilliant car. And I think everyone else shouldn't dismiss Tesla because of the person who's in charge of it, when, strictly speaking, he's not really in charge of it. He hasn't had much involvement with Tesla for God knows how long. Tesla is the work of the engineers and the designers and the software developers. I don't think Elon Musk has anything to do with the day-to-day running of the company. And if you've ever gone to a Tesla dealer, go there. The people that work there are brilliant. I've not had a bad experience with any of them. I've been to the used approved centre in Birmingham. They're all incredibly helpful up there. They're all car guys and girls. They're all incredibly enthusiastic just about cars, not just about Teslas, about cars. And I'm enthusiastic about cars. And I never thought I would be about electric cars. I never thought I would have an electric car. I never thought I'd be excited about electric cars, let alone own one. So, you know, try and keep an open mind. For me, driving this car, I don't feel like I'm supporting anything or anyone political. I didn't buy this to save the planet. I bought it because it's brilliant. If it saves the planet, it's a bonus. I didn't buy this to support right-wingers or fascism or Nazism, whatever you want to call it. I bought it because it's just a brilliant car. In the same way that the Range Rover I had before this, I bought because it's a brilliant car. And the BMWs I've had before that. And there's a lot of stuff on the internet at the minute where people are saying Teslas are garbage. They aren't. They actually aren't. Drive one with an open mind. Pretend it's got a Nissan badge on it, or whatever badge makes you happy. And realise that people aren't buying things to support any agendas. I just wanted to finish the video on that. If you're thinking about buying a Tesla, be it a Model 3, a Model Y, if you're buying it brand new, use my referral code in the description, which will save you some money on a brand new Tesla. It doesn't matter what country you're from, you can use it, and it works. I'm planning for future. I've been away from YouTube for a bit. I did a couple, and then Christmas happened and everything else. I'm planning on doing a track day in this, hopefully April, May time at Castle Combe, to see what it's like around a track. I'm also going to be doing a video, hopefully on a Model S Raven, because a family member is interested in one of those, and I've been up to Birmingham to test drive one. Also a really great car. This is now at a higher level to drive experience-wise, in terms of comfort and everything else. Than that Model S. So, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and use my referral code.